Hey beautiful people, welcome to Testimonial Thursday, Seeds of Gratitude. P.S. This is also a Gemini full moon reading, so stay tuned. Today, hey guys, it's your girl Shakima. I'm just stopping in today for today's Testimonial Thursdays. I know I'm all of 2 hours, I would say, on divine timing. It's 11 o'clock, so it's the final hour before, I guess, we close out the day of the Gemini full moon. There's a lot going on in my mind at the minute. There's so many thoughts that's kind of coming through all at once. I'm exhausted because I think a couple of weeks back, one of my seeds of gratitude was I'm grateful that I'm busy, and boy, did I definitely reap the benefits of that seed, to say the least. But I hope you guys are having an awesome day today. If you're not having such a great day, do just try to let the energies dissipate, because there's a lot in the air for us, guys. There's definitely a lot going on for us. I haven't been able to do like official videos for us this week because I have been so busy and under the weather at the same time. So I'm just kind of, coming into a place of being able to stabilize. But the energies of today, so the moon is actually going into Cancer at 23:23. Okay, so I see the intention here actually. By the time I get into doing the reading for us, guys, it's probably going to be the moon shifting out of Gemini and into Cancer, and that was actually one of the main things that I really wanted to be able to put across, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and where Mercury is no longer in retrograde or post-shadow period, there's kind of an element of us really reaping the benefits of the work that has been done during the Mercury retrograde. But Gemini is the third house of communication, particularly with siblings and in our overall neighborhood. So the neighborhood would be, the people that we spend most of our time with, the top 10 people that we spend most of our time with, I would say personally. Okay, so there's definitely going to be some communication taking place in that kind of environment. And the organs that are being triggered today are the shoulders, arms, hands, and bronchial tubes, as well as the lungs. And when the lungs are triggered, we know by now that the spirit of anger is going to sort of, be triggered to come and speak on our behalf. And it's just a case of us really just giving ourselves an opportunity to be able to, navigate through the process of those waves of energies, instead of actually, letting ourselves sit in the shadows of what could potentially sort of transpire as a result of that. So yeah, I do have only 4 seeds of gratitude this week, guys. So we've gone down from 6 to 4, and I haven't forgotten that this is supposed to be the seeds of gratitude segment. I just wanted to be able to give you guys that insight, because looking at the dynamics of that, I can see that we're really going through sacral chakra and heart chakra activation once the moon goes into Cancer at 23:23 today. Mirror, hey beautiful. So once the moon goes into Cancer, we'll be sort of activating the, as I said, sacral and heart chakra. So there's definitely going to be a lot going on for us as we go through the waves of the energies of this Gemini full moon, because basically all of the things that has been on our heart is going to be showing up. It's going to be sort of giving us an opportunity to take the time to process our healing, and it is particularly to do with things that have been on our heart, to do with our home circumstances and issues to do with our maternal relationships. Why I say that is because Cancer is the 4th house, and with the 4th house energy, it's really just giving us an opportunity to be able to root ourselves, stabilize, and the 4th house is all about the foundations, and the foundations is, generally speaking, home. So we kind of have to, those are the things that we're going to be sort of peeling back the layers of. So I'm sending you guys all of the most positive intentions for the final full moon of 2019, sort of giving us the opportunity to be illuminated about these aspects and areas of ourselves as we make our way into 2020, because the next new moon that we have will be a new moon in Capricorn, and that is basically our 10th house, and the 10th house is about paternal relationships. So we're going to be, guided to, plant new seeds in the aspects of our paternal relationships, so that we can actually allow for our life purpose to be able to come more and more into manifestation. And with that, because the 10th house is all about life purpose, it's all about purpose-driven intentions, and a lot of us don't actually realize how much of our identity is entangled with the expectations of our parents, or lack thereof, or our expectations of what we intended for, you know, our experience of our parents to be, and where they may fall short, or where we might fall short of their expectations. Those are some of the things that may cause shadows to kind of have like combative energy, like friction of energy basically. And those are the kind of things that cause a lot of tension and conflict without us sort of like realizing it's the energies that we're sort of carrying. A lot of the times, you know, we have intentions, and sometimes when our actions do not align with our intentions, we're not aware of the shadows that are attached to those intentions, because that's what Gemini is here to teach us as we navigate through this Gemini full moon energy. Because with every light comes a shadow. It's just the duality of the universe, the multiverse that we live in. So if your intention is to be able to, for instance, make a person feel good about themselves, the shadow of that may be that you don't necessarily feel as great about yourself. And if you aren't consciously aware of the motive and intention, which is the shadow behind the intention, you may not necessarily overstand, outerstand, innerstand, and understand why certain aspects of situations may show up when it seems as though you don't mean for it to be that way, when it seems as though your intention isn't necessarily for the situation to transpire that way, when it seems as though I didn't actually, want for the situation to show up like that. But again, God gives us what we need, not necessarily what we want. And what we need to know is the motive and agenda behind that particular intention. So that's why sometimes when things show up how we least expect them, and we're adamant that that wasn't our intention, if we're completely honest with ourselves, if we are prepared to be completely honest with ourselves, the motive and agenda may not have been in alignment with the intention that we're trying to put across to, the world, the universe outside of ourselves, so that we can show up as good people, even though no such thing exists. Good people do bad things all the time. It's just the way that things work because of the nature of our duality is what makes us human. The perspective of idealism is it's just an idealism. Pretty much perfection is in the eye of the beholder, is subjective to each individual basically. So we just kind of have to give ourselves an opportunity to be grateful for the lessons as they show up for us, and give ourselves an opportunity to grow through them, embrace them, ride the waves of them, and give that shadow an opportunity to be seen in the light, because that's why Spirit is going to be showing it to you during the course of this Gemini full moon. That's why Spirit is going to be giving you an opportunity to be able to heal it, to transmutate it. It's almost like you're going through a process of spiritual surgery, but it has to be done on a conscious level. The surgery is that you are going to deprogram an old program of a shadow and integrate that into your light, so that it is no longer a shadow, something that you are unaware of, the 95% of yourself that lies within your subconscious mind, because the conscious mind is only aware of 5% of our actual experience, and the subconscious mind is kind of commanding certain things into being based on its 95% of default programs that has already been instilled between the age of 0 to 7. So we have to understand, overstand, outerstand, and innerstand what patterns are showing up, and why they may be showing up, and where they're coming from within us, so that we can become a little bit more consciously aware as we navigate through the process moving forward. But I'm going to take a breath and breathe for a second. But there was just a lot to be able to get out, because this full moon is very, very significant to the final chapter. Consider December the final chapter of 2019 for yourself. And because Chiron is now effectively, as of today, going to be going direct tomorrow. Today is the last day of the Chiron retrograde. So again, the wounded aspects of ourselves that has been showing up for the period of time that Chiron has been in retrograde, since the Aries full moon, pretty much, we have to give ourselves an opportunity to be able to, honor the experiences that have shown up, and give ourselves the advantage, is probably the word that I want to use, the advantage to, rise above the challenges and overcome the obstacles that we may be faced with dealing with. Because the reality is, if we don't tackle those issues today, tomorrow, during the space of this wave that has been gifted to us, it will only show up in the next cycle for us. So it's either we take an opportunity to do it here and now, or we'll be forced to do it regardless. Once the waves of the cycle actually sort of comes back around, it's just inevitable. Okay. All of that being said, guys, this is supposed to be a Seeds of Gratitude segment. So I'm going to let you guys know what my 4 seeds of gratitude are. And you can feel free to plant your own seed of gratitude in the space here, Bernie, just to sort of put it out there. So the first thing that I'm happy for, I'm grateful for the time to enjoy my own company. There's like a lot of time that I spend doing, like I literally just spent all of today like making goodies and candles and salts, and there's just so much that I spend like so much time doing creatively and interacting. I'm so grateful to be able to actually sit into a space just to sit with myself and my own thoughts and my own voice and my own consciousness every so often. Second thing that I'm grateful for, I'm grateful to myself for using my own voice. That's something that's been like really, really instrumental for 2019. This has been the year of integrity. This is kind of like testing you to show yourself first and foremost how integral you are in the nature of your being, how you choose to handle situations, how do you show up in your experience of other people and their experiences of you as a result. And I'm really grateful that I've been taught how to use my voice throughout 2019. I don't have to go to a place of anger, frustration, resentment. I don't have to go to these low vibrational experiences of myself to be able to speak up. And I don't have to wait till I get to those places to speak up. I could just have a casual conversation and let a person know, hey, by the way, before we get to the point where you're going to trigger my spirit of anger to come and speak on my behalf, I'm letting you know that with you doing what you're doing right now, that's where you're going to take me. And before we get to that place, can we just acknowledge and identify that this is my tolerance level, this is my boundary right here. If you overstep this mark, then the spirit of anger will need to speak on my behalf because you are taking me beyond my tolerance level. And I don't even have to get like about it. It's just like, this is what it is, this is where I'm at. I don't have to feel like a bad person for it. I don't have to feel any guilt for it. I don't have to live in contention of carrying any guilt after being angry and feeling like a bad person for being angry. So I'm most grateful for that one, and I'm sure that that's going to show up to test me at some point throughout the next week now that I put that out there. But bring on the challenge. It is what it is, and I'm grateful to be able to use my voice in a way that isn't necessarily offensive to others, because a lot of the times, you know, it's easy for us to blame the other person and say, but they did this and they did that, and their shadows and their demons triggered me to go into a low vibrational reflection of myself. But I think what I learned is that we can either choose to react to somebody's shadows, or we can choose to respond to someone's shadows. And that's how I learned to use my voice. That's how Spirit taught me to use my voice throughout the process of 2019. Learn how to not react and instead learn how to respond, because when you react, you actually feed that person to their shadow, you feed them to their demon, you feed them to their low vibrational reflection of themselves, that lower entity, low vibrational entity that is working through them to be able to, I guess, you know, integrate themselves into the space. And it becomes a dog eat dog world. It's a clash of the egos at that point, and ego is simply perspective, and you can never really fight with a person about your perspective, because your perspective is based on your own personal ideals, and your experiences are the things that build your belief system, which is pretty much your ideals. Okay, so I'm really, really grateful for learning how to use my voice throughout 2019 in a positive way, without having to go into the darkness of myself to let a person know how I feel. And also equally being able to just use it for positive things in general as well. And even sitting in my shadow, just being able to express to a person, I'm in this type of place at the minute. Once I'm at the end of this particular journey, then I will be able to really just integrate and let you know the beauty of my experience of navigating through the shadow of that experience, you know. My third thing that I'm grateful for in the space is I'm grateful to myself that I keep going no matter what. Honestly, I wrote a letter to self maybe a couple of months ago. I was sleeping with it. Here it is, actually. It's literally just right in front of me. I don't recall what date I actually wrote this letter. I really wish I had dated it, because it was a good few moons ago. But when I did write the letter, one of the things that I remember saying to myself is that I tend to be really, really resilient. Like my spirit, my higher consciousness, my super consciousness tends to be really resilient in comparison to my human self, who is just being dragged along for the process of this big spirit that is trying to work through little old me. But I guess I am grateful for the fact that, you know, that spirit within me is so resilient and does keep continuing to go despite the actual, you know, circumstances. I'm exhausted right now because I've just been like at it on like non-stop today, and I still had to come into this space because that was a promise that I made to myself first and foremost, and that was a promise that I kind of made, a vow that I made to be able to come into this space on Thursdays despite whatever time it is, you know. And I still also have work. I'm hoping to be able to have like a good enough window left because there's auto work and stuff that I need to be able to do tonight whilst it's Thursday, separately, to just get stuff done, so the work never stops. But I'm grateful. And the fourth thing that I'm grateful to God for giving me the strength to continue to push forward. Honestly, sometimes I don't know where I get the energy to continue to go. And there are so many times where I just want to quit and say I've had enough. And even when I do, God just picks me up and is like, you've got this. Don't forget who you are. You know, there's a reason why you're going through this. There's a reason beneath this feeling of inadequacy that you're trying to navigate your way through. You are capable. You are more than capable. You are resourceful. It's just a case of identifying what tools you have to be able to navigate through the process of this particular challenge and obstacle that you're faced with dealing with. And in those moments where I do just want to give up on myself and, you know, scream and shout and say, you don't know what it's like. Absolutely, Bernie. Absolutely. Sometimes I just want to say, you know, you don't know what it's like having an ego attached to your experience with its density of emotions. But then Spirit reminds me that's the whole point. You signed up to be able to have this mortal experience as an immortal spiritual being. You could live forever, but you decided that you wanted to live a certain length of time, and you decided that you wanted to be able to navigate your way through certain lessons in the process. So honor the initial decision that you made to actually play your part in uplifting mankind, and then I recommit to my vow of actually coming here to have this human experience and choosing this avatar and choosing this experience and choosing the parents and everything else that goes along with this experience, and my beautiful soulmate Bernie as someone to show up in my experience to continue to remind me who I am, just as equally as I continue to remind her of who she is, as we're all just reminding each other of who we are as we embark on this process of awakening to the truth of who we've always been. So definitely grateful to God for the strength. Now guys, now that all of that awesomeness is out the way, I usually do this on my YouTube channel, so I'll probably just edit this video and put it up on my YouTube channel at some point. It's everything else that I've got to do tonight, but I'm going to do a reading for us for this Gemini full moon. I'm going to do a Celtic spread. This is going to be a long one, Bernie, so if you need to, you know, tap out at any point, I don't take it personally. I may be in the space for like 20 to 30 minutes to really be able to get as much insight into what's actually transpiring for us for this Gemini full moon. So yeah guys, let's go and take it away. Let me just shuffle the cards firstly to just give us some insights. What is the divine guidance spirit for my L.I.F.E Warriors for this Gemini full moon? What do we need to know? Okay, so a lot of us has been very guarded, very self-protecting, potentially very greedy in a lot of different ways, almost seemingly very selfish, coming into the waves of this Gemini full moon. And those are some of the things potentially that are going to be highlighted for us as we navigate our way through the process, because those are some of the things that are going to be transformed. Basically, we're going through a transition of being a little bit less greedy, materialistic in sometimes for some people is how that may show up, and just being very self-involved and self-protecting and guarded. So we're going to be sort of going through that transition. Well, that's what's kind of, you know, leading us into this space. And as we navigate through the space, absolutely, as we navigate through the space presently, we are kind of learning how to let go of what seems like missed opportunities. There may be lost opportunities even that may show up during the process of the Gemini full moon. For some of us, it may be opportunities to manifest. For others of us, it may be financial opportunities that may just kind of like fall through at the last minute. And again, it's to show us the shadow beneath that may have felt like, so if you were creating something, right, and then just at the last hurdle it just kind of like falls through your hands, your fingers, it's the crevices, I should say, of your hands. It's almost like there's a part of you telling you that you don't feel worthy of that which you're intending to sire, so you have to tackle that shadow of self-worth and then navigate your way through it. Okay, but those are some of the things that are going to be showing up for us during the waves of this Gemini full moon. And moving forward, after we navigate our way through, we'll be able to live in a place of hope. We'll be able to live in a place of faith. We'll be able to really live in a place of living in the light of ourselves, living in the light of our essence, living in the core of our being, instead of just reveling in hopelessness, living in despair, living in feeling like things will never get any better for us. And the moon has now effectively gone into Cancer, guys. 2323. Moving forward, we'll be able to live in a place of hope over the home situation, over the circumstances to do with our maternal relationships, over the circumstances to do with the foundations that we are trying to build. It is going to be able to be a hopeful situation at some point. And initially, we are going to go through a process of, not being able to find the balance between our work and personal life. And those are some of the things that we may have been a little bit selfish about in the past. That may have also been why we have been so greedy. A lot of us may be sort of aggressive and demanding as well, which may be a reason as to why the manifesting process, hey beautiful, it may be a reason as to why the manifesting process isn't showing up in the way that you're intending for it to show up. There are going to be delays moving forward as well, but you just have to be hopeful about it. It is going to give you an opportunity to have the sudden changes that you want and are hoping for, but again, you just have to be patient with the process. Everything, I'm going to wave back at you there, beautiful. Everything has its season for a reason, and sometimes even though we want things, even though we feel as though we need to have it now, God is still preparing us to be able to receive it, because sometimes we will be able to, it's like this, we'll receive it and then it just falls through. It falls through the crevices because we don't know how to cup our hand ready for the pouring in of that blessing. And those are some of the things that we're going to be faced with as we navigate through the process of this Gemini full moon. So we shall see. Thank you, beautiful. I've literally been at it all day. Candles, oils, salts. I've just managed to get into the space. So trying to give us a nice little Celtic spread to see what's going on. But I appreciate you. God bless you. Let's see. Let's see, Spirit. Where are my life warriors for this Gemini full moon and what crosses them? Where are they and what crosses them at the path that we are trying to navigate through for this Gemini full moon? Okay. Awesome stuff. Thank you, beautiful. Okay, what I can see is that there has been a lot of obstacles in the past that we are learning how to plan for. The issue, the path that we are crossing at the minute is the fact that we are poor planners. Okay, so what's happening is that we're not utilizing our latent skills, talents, and abilities. We're not utilizing those things enough, and those are the things that Spirit is really trying to push us in a direction of being able to bring those things into light, being able to bring that inner magician out into the external realms, out into the 3D. We're kind of like closet magicians, keeping ourselves to ourselves, kind of trying to navigate through accommodating other people, accommodating the circumstances of others, accommodating the world of the sleeping beings is what I'd say. And those are some of the things that are going to be showing up for us. We have to learn how to be better at utilizing our resources, better at utilizing all of the aspects of ourselves instead of picking and choosing. We have to make sure that as we're navigating through the process, we know what tools we have for what particular situation and what purpose they serve, because sometimes we downplay our strengths so that other people can feel comfortable about their weaknesses, and that's a disservice to ourselves. Basically, it's a lesson that we're going to be learning throughout the process of this Gemini full moon. So that's the path that we're crossing. Let your inner magician be free, guys, because that is really where you need to be investing yourself. That is where you need to really be investing your, attention, your time. That is where you're going to be able to find the balance about all of these anxieties that you're carrying, all of these, sleepless nights that you're carrying around. It's things that's going on, you're holding on to things on your heart, and it's having a psychological impact on your mind palace as a result, because there isn't much balance. And what Spirit is going to do for you is give you an opportunity to be able to establish a balance, to be able to find a place to kind of learn how to juggle everything. I can see for a lot of us, there has been a lot of blocked creativity. So again, those are some of the latent talents that I was speaking about, particularly to do with our career, guys. Spirit, for those of us that are, working through entrepreneurship, Spirit is really just like, if you are going to be an entrepreneur and really sort of let your creativity be your business, let that really be your business. Don't block yourself. Don't kind of stifle yourself contemplating what other people have to say about things, because I can see it's third party interactions as well. So there may be other people outside of your relationship with Spirit that may be telling you how you need to be able to bring certain things into manifestation, and the reality is what they have to say about it isn't in alignment with your true values. It's not in alignment with what you actually want to do. And you kind of just have to make a decision, because at the minute I can see that, there are negative external factors. So it will feel like bad karma, basically forces out of our control. But we're transitioning beyond that, you see. We are moving beyond that. And it's a rite of passage for us to be able to move beyond that. It's just that we're going to have to learn how to be a little bit more grounded in our expectations, because there are some high expectations, and in order for us to be able to meet their expectations, we also have to be able to identify how our expectations can be met. It's a process of compromise, guys. It's a process of compromise, and that's really what it's going to take to be able to plan efficiently with the process of what's taking place at the minute. Because looking at the sequence of the numbers that we have the Magician, we have 1. We have the 2 of Wands, 2. We have the 3 of Wands in reverse, 3. So this is literally a sequence of events that has to take place. It is inevitable. Let the flow of it guide you into the craftsmanship that Spirit knows that you're capable of. Because it's almost like there's a part of you that wants to be able to really be realized in that reflection of yourself. But there's also a part of you that's still a little bit scared, and I can feel like the tension in the heart center, and it's like, and I'm getting emotional because I can feel it's a fear of judgment. It's a fear of judgment, and that's the shadow that we're kind of navigating our way through. Fear of judgment. So when judgment shows up for you throughout the course of this final full moon of 2019, this very big integral full moon of 2019, considering that Gemini is a sign of duality, so it is the twin of light and dark. So when the shadow of fear of judgment shows up, give yourself an opportunity to let your latent talent speak for you, instead of you having to prove anything to anyone or justify yourself or defend who you really are. This is who Spirit created you to be. There's no explanation needed. That's it. Point blank, period. Okay? Now, spent a lot of time on where we are, so let's have a look and see what actually sort of brought us into this space. Where have we been, Spirit? What is a past trajectory for us that has brought us into this climax for this Gemini full moon? Where have we been? As clearly as you can, please. Okay, there's been a lot going on for us, guys. Okay, so what I can see is that we had been feeling very stuck in the past. In terms of circumstances, it was an emotional thing. I'm going to say this. We were holding on to certain emotions, and those were some of the things that were actually causing us to feel stuck. And even though we were getting financial opportunities, it's almost as though because of our feelings about being stuck, we continue to create more obstacles. We continue to create more challenges for ourselves. So that feeling, because feelings are magnetic and thoughts are electric. So that feeling was creating thoughts of, okay, this isn't going to work out. It's just supposed to be this way. We don't want to continue to sort of perpetuate that cycle. So what we're going through the process of this Gemini full moon is to give us an opportunity to just break free from that entirely, because in the past trajectory, we do have the World card. We've completed that cycle. It no longer serves us, and that's okay. We have forgiven ourselves, okay? And we've let go of holding on to that particular thought pattern, because it wasn't doing what we wanted for ourselves in the space. And that's what we've come to realize. We've learned, guys. We've learned. We have been able to come to realizations about the situation, and we are kind of learning a little bit more about how to be a team player in the process and learn how to integrate others into our creating process of the financial blessings and also the manifestations that are coming in as a result. We had been blessed coming into this space, but we didn't know, again, like I said, we didn't know how to receive the blessing. We felt stuck. We felt like it was too big of a blessing. So maybe one thing that we should be looking at when the shadows, and I know this is something that's going to show up, the shadow of worthlessness, we have to really, really identify that, because depending on the kind of childhood that we had, if we weren't, able to really feel that we were, being supported and encouraged, and our light was continuing to be fueled into, and it was just a state of bliss in most cases, then there is a shadow within us. There's a little boy, a little girl within us that does feel unworthy of the things that we're trying to manifest, and we have to honor that child within us. Yes, we are breaking away from dysfunctional cycles. Absolutely, Bernie. We're not doing that stuff anymore. It's important for what Spirit has in store for us for 2020. The new Earth is here, and we are integrating ourselves into the portal that is 2020 to be able to move into that. We've learned from our insecurities, and we learned that being indecisive isn't necessarily where we want to be with a situation anymore. So it's not a bad place to be. What is the future trajectory for us moving forward, Spirit? What is the future trajectory for my L.I.F.E Warriors moving forward? As clearly as you can, please. Okay, so moving forward, guys. Okay, we've got the Hanged Man in reverse. Honestly, this has been an entire process of major arcanas. We had the World in our past trajectory, we've got the Magician in our present trajectory, and in the future trajectory we've got the Hanged Man, but it's in reverse. So we're going to have to make certain sacrifices. We are going to have to learn how to basically, great reading, wish I could say, but I have to, that's okay, beautiful. I wish you well for your midnight ritual. I'm trying to get off as well to do my ritual. So I send you all the positivity. God bless you. Thank you for your time in the space. Full joy. We're going through a lot, guys. We're actually going to be able to navigate our way through the shadows and be victorious, firstly and foremost. I want to put that across. But it is going to be a little bit challenging. Love you too, beautiful. I love you too. Thank you for your time. It is absolutely appreciated. Wow. Okay, so we're getting a lot of clarity. We're really sort of seeing our power in the space, and it's important for us to be able to see that, to be able to utilize our intuition going forward and listen to our intuition moving forward first and foremost, because we are going to have a fall from grace. So the ego is going to be bruised because of our tendency to look at things like, it's happening to us instead of for us. But even though that is the case, that will be the sacrifices that we're having to make. That would be the restrictions that are going to be showing up for us. That would actually be the things that we are going to be breaking away from, as far as the attachments, the things that we are bounded to, the things that feels like bondage, the things that kind of feels like we're chained to it. And these are perspective based. Absolutely 110% perspective based. I'm going to have a look and see what's going on in the subconscious mind and in the conscious mind, and kind of leave it there, and then pull a card for each of the different tribes, because I also need to get off to be able to do my ritual before midnight, because I need to be in the window of Thursday. So yeah, guys, let's have a little look and see what's going on for my L.I.F.E Warriors in the subconscious mind as we navigate our way through the okay, so in the subconscious mind, okay, we are contemplating a lot of the so basically because of feeling stuck in the past, that was causing us to sort of trigger states of depressive thoughts, feelings, and states of being, because of the past situation. But right now we're contemplating how we actually, like, what thoughts took us there, what vibrations we were experiencing as we kind of like went into depression, and why, because we're actually transforming that, we're transmuting that, guys. Again, we have another major arcana in the actual subconscious mind. We have the Death card. Okay, so, and it's not in reverse, guys, it's upright, which means that we're going through a transformation of the depressive thoughts. We're going through a transformation of living in a place of resistance to the changes that are taking place for us. So it's a beautiful time. It is very challenging. It is going to be very overwhelming for us at times. It's going to take a lot of work, guys, because we do have the 7 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So our free spirit is really going to have to do a lot of work to ground ourselves, because our spirit that wants to be free and spontaneous in the way that it's able to do things is going to be met with restrictions. It's going to be met with, you know, taking other people's circumstances into consideration. And those are some of the things that are going to be the challenges for us as we navigate through this Gemini full moon. But it shall be transformed because we're contemplating it, guys. We're really looking at it. You know, we've got the four of cups energy. We're really looking at it emotionally. We're processing it. We really want to understand why. We're contemplating what it is about that situation. And again, we're going to get the clarity we need. We are going to get the clarity we need because it's happening at a subconscious level for us. So it's almost like the parts of ourselves that is, you know, naturally programmed to do certain things wants to know, which is a benefit. It's definitely a benefit to the situation. What is going on in our conscious mind, spirit, as we navigate through the Gemini full moon for my L.I.F.E Warriors? As clearly as you can. What is going on in the conscious mind for us? Okay. Again, guys, we have all major arcanas. There's big work going on within us, going on within the collective. We have the 6 of Pentacles and the Empress. And the Empress, which is again a major arcana. We have them both upright. So there's going to be a lot of generosities that is going to, people are going to be coming in basically. And considering that, you know, the Gemini full moon is going to be the last full moon leading us into the Christmas period, that's a given. People are probably focused on all the things that they're going to receive as well as all the things that they're going to be giving. But it's going to be coming from a place of that feeling of abundance. It's going to be coming from that place of feeling like I have so much to give, even if it may feel like I have nothing, you know. And those are some of the things that are really going to be addressed as we navigate our way through, because we're going through a process of judgment. The sounds of the heavens are really sort of awakening. We're going to learn how to be less controlling about the situation and embrace what is actually sort of transpiring for us. And it's almost like the restrictions are inevitable because we've got the Judgment card at the back of the deck. Okay, the Judgment and the Emperor in reverse. So that lets me know that these restrictions have been divinely orchestrated. Every single restriction has been put in place as a lesson to show you something about yourself. So instead of making your lesson about the other person and the restriction that showed up as a result of them being used as a lesson to show you something about yourself, receive your lesson, beloved. Take it as an opportunity to grow. Take it as an opportunity to transcend your current state of being, and take it as an opportunity to just continue to be better. Okay? That being said, there's going to be a lot of, you know, we're going to kind of, there's not going to be much balance between work and personal life as we kind of navigate our way through. So it's either we're all work or we're all personal life. That's just kind of how things are going to transpire for us as we navigate through this final full moon of 2019. So let's just close out the space and see what the overall guidance is for each of the zodiacs, well, each of the actual tribes for the Gemini full moon. Let's see. What is the divine guidance, spirit, for my L.I.F.E Warriors for the Gemini full moon? So we've been learning how to set effective boundaries in place for ourselves, guys. Okay, we've been learning how to basically create healthier relationships for ourselves. That's what boundaries are, instead of barriers, because barriers, nobody can love us through a barrier. Okay, that's basically a brick wall. But if we have boundaries, that's a fence where they know, don't overstep this fence, because then this is my love threshold, and you have now moved beyond the confinements of my love threshold, my positive love threshold, and you're going to be going into my dark love threshold, which is tough love, basically. Okay. So in the present moment, it's going to give us an opportunity to align with our soul family. It's going to give us an opportunity to align with our soul tribe as we set those boundaries in place, because then people that can respect us within the confinements of those boundaries are going to be the people that we're able to integrate with. And moving forward, we will be going through an awakening, guys. We will be going through an awakening, and really just the being that is within us, our super consciousness, that spirit within us, is going to give you an opportunity to awaken to more of who it is within you, puppeteering you, even if you think that you're the one running the show. I've got some news for you. Okay, that's not it. Let's see, we'll start off, seeing as it's Gemini full moon, we'll start off with the air tribe and see what's the guidance for you guys. What is the divine guidance spirit for my air babies, my air tribe, for the Gemini full moon? I'm gonna grab that, guys, because it was very clear for you guys. Okay. Meeting soul family, absolutely beautiful. It's going to be a really, really beautiful awakening. Absolutely. The guidance for the air tribe is to just say yes. Just say yes, guys. Okay, even if you want to say no, just say yes. Just say yes to all of this abundance that is actually showing up for you. All of these restrictions is actually giving you an opportunity to tap into the abundance, so that you don't have to close yourself off to it moving forward. Don't dim your light to fit in. Say yes to yourself first and foremost, and don't let it be a situation where you're quieting your voice just for the sake of, making other people feel comfortable in your environment. Say yes. Okay, say yes to yourself first and foremost, and then let that be a kind of a way to identify what are your actual yeses outside of yourself. Can you say yes to this situation or not? And if you can't, that's okay too. You just have to be okay about being a villain in somebody else's story, because that's just how it just so happens to be sometimes. Okay. Now, let's see. We'll go ahead and do Earth Tribe next. What is the divine guidance for my Earth Tribe babies? My Earth Tribe babies for this Gemini full moon spirit. What do they need to know? As clearly as you can, please. Okay. The ever-unfolding rose. Cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. So for you guys, because what I would say is, because Earth tribes, it tends to that you guys tend to be a little bit rigid with your energy. You kind of are just like very fixed in your focus of things. Even for those Earth tribes that are mutable, it's still a little bit challenging for you guys to be open. So just be open to the process is pretty much what I'd say. There you go. I couldn't have said it even any better. Leap. Okay, go first. The universe will catch you. Trust your path and know that it is divinely orchestrated for you. And get grounded, okay? Get grounded. Connect to nature if you need to. Connect to your heart center. Allow for yourself to be open from your heart center, so that you can really ground yourself in the process of everything as it's kind of happening for you, not to you. Okay? Let's have a little look and see. What is the divine guidance spirit for my water babies for this Gemini full moon? As clearly as you can, please. What is the divine guidance for my water babies? Okay, let's have a little look. Water babies. So for you guys, interestingly enough, the guidance for you guys is to trust your path. Trust your path and get grounded. Okay, so empaths, that's what we are. Empaths are naturally, the human avatar is the empath, but because empathy is an emotion and water signs basically speak fluent emotion, that's our thing. Okay, the way for us to be able to sort of navigate our way through the process is to follow our feelings, follow our ability to be able to get grounded within our feelings. Don't just be, I'm going to say this, don't use this as an excuse to be an emotional wreck, because we are obviously going through signs of duality. Absolutely beautiful. Because we're going through signs of duality, it's going to be positives and shadows to the aspect. So just think that if you knew you were supported, what would you do when the shadows show up? If you knew that you were absolutely supported, what would you do? Get grounded in that thought. Meditate on that thought. If you knew that God already had your back and you had already navigated your way through the process of this situation, what would you do? Okay, that is the divine guidance for you guys, because things are going to, well, things have been crumbling down, but things are going to continue to crumble throughout the process of this Gemini full moon because of the restrictions that are happening to allow for us to become illuminated, to become awakened to, you know, things within ourselves that may have been perpetuating certain negative cycles. Spirit's trying to teach us, what are we clinging to? So when we're clinging to something, identify. If you knew that you were supported and God is already with you, what would you do? Okay, tune into your inner temple, tune into your heart center, and allow for that to be able to speak the volumes that you would like to express to others. Okay, what is the divine guidance, Spirit, for my fire babies for the Gemini full moon? As clearly as you can, please. What is the divine guidance for my fire tribe for the Gemini full moon? As clearly as you can. Right, guys, so for my fire tribe, again, you guys actually have the same as the water tribe. There's a lot that is going to be crumbling around you guys, and the advice for you guys is to know that you've been training for this for lifetimes. Past lifetimes has been preparing you for this, and in the present, just know that you're already doing what you're supposed to do. Keep facing your true north and stop overthinking it. Okay, come out of your head and come into your heart center and allow for that to be the place that you're making your decisions from, because your heart also has a neurological programming to be able to make decisions for you. That's why sometimes people say, should I go with my head or my heart? Okay, and as you move forward, you'll come to realize that you are the oracle. Okay, you will come to realize that you are the person that is narrating and dictating your own reality that you are creating for yourself. And when you get into places of low vibration, try to shift your energy by doing something to exert the energy, and just again identify what are you clinging to in the process of that situation, so that you can let go of the attachment and be open to the beauty of the blessings that are showing up as a result. Okay, beloveds, that was a lot, guys. I keep like checking the time because I need to get into like set the space for my full moon ritual, but I'm gonna love you guys and leave it there for you guys. As per usual, beloveds, I'm sending you guys nothing but love, light, and positive intentions for the journey ahead. I hope that was useful for you guys. If you guys haven't already done so, definitely be sure to check out the link in my bio. If you're watching, well, clearly you guys are watching this by my IG. But check out the link in my bio. That way you guys can connect with me for personal reading, shadow work, mentorship, energy healing, candles, oils, whatever. I'm here for the job, guys. Okay? If I am able to upload this to my YouTube channel and you guys are watching this via my YouTube channel, then definitely be sure to check out the link in the description box below, and you'll be able to utilize that link to connect with me for all of the above that I just mentioned, as well as connecting with me via my other social media channels like my Instagram, for instance. Okay, beloveds, I'm gonna love you guys and leave it there for you guys. I will see you guys in the next video, if I don't see you guys before next Thursday for the Seeds of Gratitude. Okay, beloveds, happy Gemini full moon, full joy it, and as per usual, God bless and a share. Mwah. Take care, guys. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more.